Firstly, let me explain this hearing process that we have going on. First and foremost, we want to establish a timeline of when responsible government officials have been notified. We want to make it clear that nobody can claim lack of knowledge of the dangers of NSPM7. The incoming Sherrill administration was elected in part due to her promise to fight Trumpism in New Jersey and protect us from the harms of the Trump administration. It was on October 12th that Lily Benavides and I first notified New Jersey Attorney General Plotkin, calling for him to immediately act to prevent the transfer of New Jersey data to the U.S. Department of Justice. Lily followed through on the next day, October 13th, with a letter to then-candidate Mickey Sherrill. Bonnie Kerness has confirmed that both of these messages were communicated to the Criminal Justice Working Group of the Sherrill that had engaged her as an advisor. They confirmed receipt of the messages. We also have successfully broken this news in the New Jersey media in one outlet only, the Newark Patch. Across the nation, the news media is stonewalling and not covering this issue, from the national to the local level. That is true even though citizens and residents by the millions in every state can potentially be harmed once NSPM7 is in full motion. Our efforts pressuring for news coverage were successful, and the past coverage confirms that this information about NSPM7, our opposition, our public hearing, is in the public realm. As we continue this public hearing process, we will continue to collect artifacts of the written and video commentary calling for protection. The hearing process will continue to amass proof that New Jersey citizens and residents are activated on the issue and communicating concerns. There can be no claim that there is no public concern. We are placing as much opposition on the public record as possible. That provides evidence that the government has been amply made aware of the dangers and concerns of the public. This event is only the first evidence testimony gathering event. We are collecting videos from today's presentation, and we will make them available and inbox them and continue to provide the details to elected and appointed officials with the ability to provide protection to New Jersey from NSPM7. Demands of New Jersey state are basic: to extend the direction currently provided to police regarding prohibition for their participation in ICE and immigration law enforcement. The demand is simple: extend the same prohibition from participating in the NSPM7 thought control policing. We are focusing the demand on Governor Murphy, incoming Governor Sherrill, and Attorney General Plotkin. While Plotkin cannot act without direction from the governor, he is tasked with evaluating actions by the Trump administration as to how they would affect and impact New Jersey. If he has not done this already, he is derelict, and if he has done it already, he is not being transparent in stating his position on the matter. Through this hearing process, we are stating clearly the potential dangers to New Jersey citizens and residents. According to Attorney General Pam Bondi, the U.S. government will handle those who are placed on the domestic terrorist list in the same fashion it is handling those declared to be cartel terrorists. The U.S. has killed over 70 so far in attacks on boats under the pretense of fighting cartel terrorists, but no evidence provided at all of any drug involvement. The United Kingdom is changing its rules of intelligence cooperation with the United States over these murders by the Trump administration, and a senior admiral, commander of the Southern Fleet, has resigned from his Navy post as such over the murderous policy and the drift toward a major war in Latin America. NSPM7 itself openly states that it intends there to be legal discrimination against those identified as domestic terrorists. Based upon beyond their opinions. NSPM7 calls for maximum prosecution of federal crimes for those in this list. The list of opinions that can get you added to the NSPM7 domestic terrorist list includes anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, and anti-Christianity. Support for the overthrow of the United States, extremism on immigration, race, and or gender, and hostility toward those who hold traditional American views on family, religion, and morality. NSPM7 tasked the USAG to create the list with support from police agencies and through the participation of the Joint Terrorist Task Force. And that's why we're here today, because the Joint Terrorist Task Force is headquartered in the FBI building behind us. And we are trying to highlight the connection, the direct New Jersey connection to this crackdown. And that's what we're trying to prevent. The JTTF is a police body coordinated between the FBI and other federal agencies and state and local police departments. New Jersey's JTTF are headquartered in the FBI complex, and the JTFs are tasked with leading the investigation and engaging local police departments in the thought control crackdown. As the NSPM7 process moves forward, we can all recall the recent statements by Trump and Quantico before the generals and admirals of the United States Armed Forces, where he said he wanted the armed forces to participate in war games in our cities and that there is an enemy within. He was referring to American citizens and residents as his enemy. That he wanted to take full military action. The ICE mission has expanded to include those supporting workers' communities and protesting ICE terror. The Pentagon has announced plans for a 23,000 elite National Guard to respond to civil unrest. It is not just bluster. NSPM7 describes the process as to who the targets will be. The longer they delay imposing a policy to protect us, the more likely data has been transferred to the OAG, and New Jersey names may have already been placed on the domestic terrorist list. We are creating a historic public record. The potential of massive harm requires that we painstakingly document our communications and what we are now, the lack of responses and hopefully soon actual responses. If there is no protective measures taken by New Jersey and we are harmed accordingly, we will be able to show the negligence to protect from unjust harm of significant swaths of the population who Trump has proclaimed should be subjected to government harm, up to and including lethal, because of our opinions on 10 matters. The method of powered by Palantir data crunching. The parameters are being adjusted to come for the whole population. By terrorist smearing and baiting the population based upon our opinions on 10 matters, their intent is to dehumanize us so that when they bring harm to us over our points of view and our philosophies and beliefs, they are attempting to convince others, spared for now, that we are dangerous and violent and needing a harmful reckoning. Like, where have we heard for the last 2 years? The genocide in Gaza. The U.S.-Israel narrative has been to terrorist bait the entire Gazan population to justify the indiscriminate extermination. We have heard the battle cry from pro-Israel people in New Jersey. No innocence in Gaza, terrorism from the cradle to the grave. And we have seen the results of terrorists baiting a whole population. So putting us on a terrorist list is baiting us and setting us up for similar sorts of repression. We cannot tolerate any false smear by proclamation or fiat of anyone as terrorists, and for harm to be brought upon us based upon such illegal proclamation. Any nation that directs harm to the population in the cases through AI and predictive analytical processes as the judge, jury, and executioner is a nation devoid of law and justice. The silence of political officials, candidates, parties, organizations, and even most of us in the face of massive attempts to proclaim guilt and harm upon us, not one finger should be lifted to enforce such a decree, and especially not New Jersey police, even if they serve in the JTTF force. We might occasionally need brave military guard police to dismantle weapons or defuse real violent threats, but most would agree that their role must not be to enforce AI-created lists based upon whether we have been determined by no legal process in the universe to be associated with crimes or criminal likelihood because we are deemed by extremism on race, gender, and or immigration, anti-Americanism, Christianity, or capitalism possible in favor of government overthrow or not favorable toward traditional American values. I could see about 100 million Americans would end up on the list. For immigrants, Trump is planning to start providing lists to county, to bounty services to do the rounding up. You may have heard about this. No doubt similar gangster methods can be turned on the rest of us as well. And we have no acknowledgement by New Jersey Governor Clarkin or Governor-elect Sherrill. To be clear, we have constitutional rights that cannot be set aside by a national security presidential memorandum. Attorney General of right now, the only thing standing between NSPM7 and New Jersey citizens and residents, you are looking at it. We are the only ones standing between New Jersey and this attack. We do not have support from our current government yet. We already have one achievement, the patch article, and that has put our efforts on the floor. If you scan the media, there has been scant reporting. Right now, the patch article, if you do a Google search, is number 7 in the news search. And it's the only local media that has coverages so far. I'm almost done, don't worry. For NSPM7, I do not see other states or region-level reporting, even though swaths of the population are vulnerable. Police are working on the plan to turn up the heat, and the media plays along silently. But we broke New Jersey's silence on this issue, and it has been brought to the proverbial floor. It has not caused any great ripple or responses from the government, but the elected officials and appointed officials, no doubt, are a little bit more aware of it. We need the state to immediately acknowledge the issue as a concern. As of now, we only see by most of the media, aside from the patch and the elected officials of both parties, to totally make believe that we have not been trying to reach them on this issue. We will not have the volume turned up in their direction any louder. We have been on them for 4 weeks now. Elections are over. It is time now to show what you mean when you were saying you would fight Trump on election eve. He is baiting us as terrorists based upon an AI review of our social media and political participation. A now or never moment. Once you let the trough of data go through the U.S. Attorney General, it will be hard to close the barn door. That process was likely already begun, and we are issuing open requests to demand information about the process to the governor, governor-elect, OAG, state and county, and some local jurisdictions for that information. Oprah has been stripped, so we might not get anything, but that in itself will be a reveal and a fact captured for the historic record. The public hearing process we initiated and that we have publicly reported at Fight Back Better, you can get there from the QR code on the banner and on the sign. We will put these videos up there, and we will put the other statements that continue to come in. We can learn from this event and help organize similar hearings on campuses and communities around the state. So we will continue to build convergence through these hearings, and this has been a challenging issue to organize around, and we appreciate your patience, but I think we got something going here. I'm going to next introduce Bennett Zarofsky.